The Baroque era of art history, spanning from the 17th to the early 18th century, was a time of grandeur, extravagance, and innovation in the arts. It was a period marked by the rise of absolute monarchies, the development of new artistic styles, and the flourishing of music and architecture. From the ornate palaces of France to the majestic churches of Italy, the Baroque and late Baroque styles left a lasting impression on European culture that still continues to inspire and captivate to this day. The Baroque period was a time of turmoil in Europe. The religious and political climate was tense, and artists looked for ways to express themselves in a way that would resonate with people. They drew inspiration from the Renaissance, which celebrated humanism, scientific advancement, and the arts, and from the Counter Reformation, which emphasized the importance of faith and religious devotion. The Protestant Reformation, on the other hand, called for a return to the basics and simplicity in all things, including art. Baroque art, however, was the antithesis of the Reformation's austere style, greatly promoted by the Catholic Church, who spearheaded the Counter Reformation. It aimed to elicit strong emotions from the viewer, using drama and theatricality to achieve this effect. One of the most distinguishing features of Baroque art was the emphasis on movement and drama. This was achieved using dynamic compositions, which often included twisting figures and strong diagonals. Baroque artists also employed chiaroscuro, a technique that used light and shadow to create a sense of depth and contrast in their work. Ornate decoration and intricate details were also a hallmark of Baroque art. Artists used contrasting textures and materials to create a sense of opulence and grandeur in their paintings. This was particularly evident in the work of Rubens, who was known for his use of vivid colors and ornate decoration. Rubens often depicted biblical scenes and mythological subjects, with an emphasis on the grandeur and opulence of the figures he portrayed. Caravaggio, on the other hand, was known for his use of dramatic lighting and dark backgrounds to highlight the figures in the foreground. His work often depicted religious or mythological scenes with a realistic and emotional portrayal of the human figure. Rembrandt's work, meanwhile, was characterized by his use of light and shadow to create a sense of depth and texture in his paintings. He was a master of the chiaroscuro, and his paintings often featured scenes from everyday life, as well as religious and historical subjects. The Baroque style of music drew inspiration from the visual arts of the Renaissance, as well as from the religious and political turmoil of the time. Baroque composers sought to create music that was emotional, dramatic, and highly expressive, often using music as a means of conveying religious or political messages. One of the most significant developments of Baroque music was the rise of the opera. Opera was a new form of musical theater that combined music, drama, and spectacle. It was highly popular in Italy and quickly spread throughout Europe. Opera composers such as Claudio Monteverdi, Jean-Baptiste Lully, and George Frederick Handel wrote music that was highly expressive and emotional, often using complex harmonies and intricate melodies. Another significant development of Baroque music was the use of the basso continuo. The basso continuo, also known as the figured bass, was a technique in which a musician played a bass line while another musician improvised a harmony based on the given chords. This technique was used in a wide range of music, including opera, chamber music, and sacred music. One important feature of Baroque music was its use of polyphony. Polyphony is a technique in which multiple melodies are played simultaneously, creating a complex and layered sound. Composers such as Johann Sebastian Bach were known for their use of polyphony, which gave their music a highly expressive and emotional quality. Alongside art and music, Baroque architecture emerged in Europe in the 17th century. It was characterized by ornate decoration, grandeur, and theatricality. Baroque architecture gained popularity in Italy in the early 17th century, with churches and palaces being built in a grand and theatrical style. One of the most notable examples of Baroque architecture is the Church of Sant'Ivo alla Sapienza in Rome, designed by Francesco Borromini. The church features a complex and dynamic facade with undulating lines and curves, creating a sense of movement and drama. Another notable Baroque architect was Gian Lorenzo Bernini, who redesigned the Piazza Navona in Rome. The piazza features three fountains, including the famous Fontana di Quattro Fiumi, or Fountain of the Four Rivers. The fountain is an elaborate and intricate work of art, featuring sculptures of river gods and animals. A distinctive design feature of Baroque architecture is the use of curved lines and surfaces. This was achieved using stucco, a type of plaster that could be molded into complex shapes. Baroque buildings often featured exaggerated curves and spirals, creating a sense of movement and energy. Baroque architects also made use of light and shadow to create a sense of drama and contrast. Like Baroque paintings, they employed chiaroscuro, using contrasting light and dark to create a sense of depth and texture. This was particularly evident in the other works of Francesco Borromini, with its Church of San Carlo alle Quattro Fontane, also in Rome. Like the Piazza Navona, the church features a complex and intricate facade with deep shadows and bright highlights. Rococo art, music, and architecture evolved from the Baroque style in the early 18th century and is often considered to be the final stage of the Baroque style, or late Baroque. It drew inspiration from the natural world and the playful whimsy of French aristocratic society. Rococo's popularity quickly spread across Europe, especially in France and Germany. Rococo's design features differed from Baroque in that it embraced asymmetry, lightness, and delicate ornamentation. It was characterized by intricate designs and ornate decoration, featuring curving lines, scrolls, and floral motifs. Rococo art and architecture were designed to create a sense of intimacy and pleasure, with pastel colors and graceful, airy shapes. One notable example of Rococo architecture is the Palace of Versailles in France, which was built during the reign of French King Louis XIV. The palace's design features elaborate ornamentation, such as gilded moldings, carved marble, and painted ceilings. The palace's gardens are also a prime example of Rococo design, featuring winding paths, fountains, and small sculptures. Rococo art was also popular during this time, with artists such as Antoine Watteau and Francois Boucher creating works that featured pastel colors and whimsical themes. Rococo music was characterized by light, delicate melodies and ornamentation, and it was often played in small ensembles. Rococo's popularity began to decline in the late 18th century as it was seen as frivolous and lacking in substance. Rococo evolved into the more austere and geometric neoclassical style, which emphasized the principles of reason and logic over the whimsy and frivolity of Rococo. Rococo, and Baroque in general, remains an important style in the history of art, music, and architecture, and continues to influence contemporary design.